Well, Jay, we've got Anthony Richardson being granted permission to seek a trade in Indianapolis, something that I think a lot of people saw coming all along. He struggled to stay healthy. He's lost his spot in the rotation. The Colts have been trying to re-sign Daniel Jones and will continue to do that. I think that they feel that he's their quarterback of the future, a title that once belonged to Anthony Richardson. And we've seen quarterbacks get second, third chances and go on to have great success in the league. Look at Sam Darnold this past year. Look at Daniel Jones. Look at Baker Mayfield. There may be a team out there with enough teams needing quarterbacks that view Anthony Richardson as that type of quarterback, somebody that they could groom and develop. The numbers are not overly impressive. He needs more time. He needs more work. He needs more coaching. But there's enough talent and upside there that there may be a team out there that's willing to roll the dice on him.
Definitely a story we will be following. Adam, thank you so much. There are a host of other QB questions, and one we're arguably most of the talk about is Aaron Rodgers' future. Steelers GM Omar Khan saying Tuesday, quote, the door is open to having Aaron back. And those comments coming the same day that you shared that Rodgers had interest going to Minnesota last season. Where do we stand right now with Rodgers, Adam?
I think that we're going to get an answer from Aaron Rodgers. At least that's the belief around the league, sooner than last year. You never fully know with Aaron Rodgers, but I think a lot of people believe that there could be some sort of resolution as the new league year begins in mid-March. Again, the Steelers have been open to having him back all along, even before Mike Tomlin decided to walk away from the job and they decided to hire Mike McCarthy. Their stance has not changed, despite the fact that they've changed head coaches. They've wanted Aaron Rodgers back all along. His teammates expressed that in the exit interviews with the team. They wanted him back. They are hoping that he comes back, but you never know what Aaron Rodgers ultimately will decide. Last year, he did have an interest in Minnesota. He wound up in Pittsburgh. He obviously enjoyed himself, and now it's a question of whether or not he'd like to be back in Pittsburgh again this year with his contract having expired. If he comes back, they have their quarterback. If not, the team believes an awful lot in Will Howard, the young rookie quarterback from last year. He's very sharp, and they believe that Mike McCarthy, the new head coach, could work with Will Howard and help develop him as a professional quarterback.
All right, let's go to Miami, where Dolphins GM John Eric Sullivan saying everything's on the table regarding Tua Tagovailoa, including a trade. What are you hearing about Tua's future?
Yeah. It's a very difficult contract to trade, Jay. There is so much money due that it would be very difficult for Miami to find a trade partner, even if they are willing to pay down some of the money and give up a draft pick to another team to take on that Tua contract. At some point in time, the Dolphins are going to have to take their medicine. And it feels like the question becomes, do they simply release Tua now and eat the $99.1 million in dead cap money, which would be the highest total in NFL history, or whether they spread it out over 2 years and designate him a post-June 1st salary cap casualty. But I believe that nobody around the league thinks that Tua Tagovailoa will be back in Miami next year. Few expect that the Dolphins will be able to find a trade partner, and the likely outcome would seem to be that he winds up being released, with the real question about whether they split up the cap charge or not.
All right, Adam, to Arizona, Cardinals GM Monty Ossenfort also stating that all options are on the table regarding what's next for Kyler Murray. What can you share about Murray's situation?
It sounds like he's hoping to be released, that he would have the freedom to choose where he wants. The problem that the Cardinals have is that more guaranteed money becomes due early in the league year, and they don't want to put any more guaranteed money due. Right now, when he's got $36.8 million due, an additional $17 million on March 15th, which I believe is the fourth day of the league year. And Arizona doesn't want to put more guaranteed money into Kyler Murray. Other teams know that, and that's why the market to trade for him is expected to be slow. Doesn't mean it can't happen, because Kyler Murray is a former #1 overall pick, a talented quarterback. But I think that nobody's expecting right now that the Cardinals will be able to find a trade partner anytime soon.
All right, last one to Baltimore. Ravens GM Eric DeCosta saying he's definitely confident that a contract extension can be reached with Lamar Jackson. Where do negotiations stand?
Jay, they've been talking, and the truth of the matter is they've been talking since last summer. And I think the feeling around the league always has been that at some point in time here, Lamar Jackson has a chance to become the highest paid player in NFL history. I think that he might have been able to become that last year, but they've just been very slow and patient, both sides. Lamar is very private about these situations, and so no one really knows exactly how close they are. But the Ravens have been open and saying that they want to get a long-term deal done with Jackson if and when they do get a long-term deal done with him. And their owner said this week that he wants that done by the start of the league year in mid-March. Again, I would think that that deal makes him the new highest-paid player in NFL history. Both sides working on it. We'll see if they can figure it out and get it done.
Okay, Adam Schefter, appreciate you, brother. Thank you much. You're going to see you a little later on SportsCenter. Jets.
Well, Jay, it has meaning for both teams. First of all, the Titans get back Jermaine Johnson, reunite him with their new head coach, Robert Saleh. As for the New York Jets, however, they leave themselves with a hole at defensive end, which they conveniently enough can address with the second overall pick in the upcoming April draft. They now will have the ability to take the top pass rusher in this draft. And with this trade today, that will become official next month once the new league year begins, the Jets have left themselves with a big opening. There are Mel Kiper's top 5 edge rushers, David Bailey, Reuben Bain Jr. Also up there, I think you have a player like Arvell Reese. One of these is going to wind up with the New York Jets with the second overall pick. That is now the expectation with the news that they are dealing Jermaine Johnson to the Tennessee Titans and getting back T'Vondre Sweat to plug a hole in the center of their defensive line.
All right, Adam, you hang tight. It's time to play a little game of tag right now. NFL teams can use the franchise tag until Tuesday. Cowboys say they are leaning toward using the tag on George Pickens after his career year. Coach Brian Schottenheimer speaking to our Kimberly Martin. It's new on SportsCenter.
GP's the best. He loves football. The business side of it, Kimberly, is the business side of it. And there's going to be those people that want to create storylines. At the end of the day, I expect George to be playing great football for us in Dallas for a long time to come.
Okay, Adam, what are you hearing about contract discussions between Pickens and the Cowboys?
Well, Jay, I think that they're going to be using the tag on George Pickens. That's the sense and the expectation around the league, is that ultimately George Pickens will be tagged, because they're just not going to allow a receiver that good, that talented, that dominant to just walk out the door and become a free agent. They obviously would like to re-sign him. They have not had extensive discussions, to my knowledge, so far yet. There'll be time to do that this offseason. Clearly, George Pickens would prefer that he has a long-term deal and not the franchise tag. There is a history here between the Dallas Cowboys and the agent of George Pickens. It's the same agent, David Mulgeta, who represented Micah Parsons last year. Dallas has been down that road before. It's in the interest of both sides to be more proactive, to try to get that deal done as soon as possible, to get Pickens the deal he wants, and the Cowboys the receiver that they need under contract for multiple years.
Meanwhile, Adam, everyone wondering if A.J. Brown will be with the Eagles this season. His stats were down last year, showed some frustration. Philly coach Nick Sirianni said he wants Brown but can't guarantee what happens. Pats coach Mike Vrabel has a relationship with Brown from their days on the Titans. Listen to this.
It has meant a lot. I've watched him grow. I've watched him mature. I'm proud of him. Proud of the father that he is. I'm proud of the husband, and that has nothing to do with where he plays and where he played. So those are the things that are important. You know, we reach out and text each other during the things that happen good to each other, and sometimes things don't go so well for the people that you're close with, and you text those as well. So it's a two-way street of support and reminders of what got us to where we are here today.
Mike Vrabel saying all the nice things, while neither Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni or GM Howie Roseman are outright saying they're committed to another year with Brown. What are you hearing, Adam, about the receiver's future?
Well, Jay, I think anytime a team leaves open the door like that, that tells you that they're listening to offers. And they've been pretty clear about the fact that they prefer not to trade A.J. Brown, but that they are listening. And when there's a team that's listening, there's always the possibility that that team will make a deal. Now, if the Eagles wind up trading A.J. Brown, it will leave them with a high salary cap charge, and they wouldn't do it unless they felt like they were getting back significant compensation. You heard how much A.J. Brown means to Mike Vrabel personally. He knows him from their time together in Tennessee. There are any number of teams around the league that need help at wide receiver. There's not a wide receiver available that would be any more talented than A.J. Brown. So some teams are going to have to make the right offer to get Philadelphia to entertain moving off their standout wide receiver.
Adam Schefter joining us from the Combine in Indianapolis. Adam, my friend, thank you so much.